I was so scared of the food. It just seemed inedible to me, and I couldn't eat it.
I just see myself as really fat and gross. There was a time in my life when I thought, I don't care if this ends up killing me as long as I'm skinny when it does. Well, I was binging and purging multiple times every day. I just couldn't see reality. I saw fat where there wasn't any.
And my hair was falling out and my skin was really flaky and just like all the symptoms. I was growing that like fuzz of hair. I was always cold. I mean, I knew everything really about the disorders, but I had always told myself I'm never going to become like that. I'm never going to become like that. I always told myself that.
I never thought I would be one of the statistics. I never thought I would be 1 in 10 girls has an eating disorder.
Millions of American teenagers have an eating disorder. Mary is one of them.
I was, concerned with the way I looked, and the media always tells you, you want to be thin, you want to lose weight, and so I think I started out just like cutting down on sweets and slowly just like cutting down on a little bit at a time.
Mary was only 11 when her anorexia began. A person with anorexia doesn't eat enough food to maintain a healthy body weight. At first, it was just about losing a few pounds.
It wasn't like one of those things where I just like sat down and decided one day that I was going to stop eating.
But after a few pounds,
I think it just like took control of me, and it was just like a whirlwind, and I didn't even realize what I was getting myself into, and soon I was eating less and less.
For months, she kept restricting her food and losing weight.
I was in 6th grade, I was 12 years old, and I was 5'2", and I weighed 67 pounds.
She was so underweight, she could have died, but she still didn't want to eat.
I just couldn't see it. I couldn't ever imagine wanting to eat again, and I could never imagine food being a good thing.
What might cause someone to develop an eating disorder?
And I thought maybe people will love me if I'm really thin and really tall and beautiful. When I looked at myself, I said, thinness is happiness. And everyone I saw who was thin was happy. So I had no base to, look at someone and see if thin equals happy, what does fat equal? And fat equals unhappy. So I didn't want to be that way.
She may have thought her eating disorder started because she wanted to look better and be thinner. But experts say, more often, eating disorders are brought on by a need for control.
You are trying to control things in your life that are seemingly uncontrollable. It could be serious family issues. It could be serious personal issues. It could be anxiety. Sometimes, just about school. Whatever it is, it's something that you're trying to control through your food and through your body. And it has much more to do with emotional pain and psychological pain than just losing weight.
Anorexia has been seen as a problem for females only, but in reality, it is estimated that 1 million American males also suffer from eating disorders.
I used to just drink water and a mint and I'd be set for the whole day.
In high school, Michael was 6 feet tall and weighed only 135 pounds. The average weight for a 6-foot-tall teenage boy is 155 pounds.
I felt like I could always lose more weight.
We're exposed to 1,200 ads a day through different sources of media telling us how we're supposed to look, what we're supposed to do, what defines success, what gives us value.
I didn't feel like I was good enough for anything.
But he thought maybe if he was thinner, things would be better. Many boys feel the pressure to focus on their looks, their bodies.
And so you're going to have more guys who are dieting, who are compulsively exercising. And anytime someone diets, there's the possibility that a small subset of that group will become anorexic or bulimic or will get stuck in that process.
Michael did get stuck. He had anorexia. Michael eventually realized he was starving himself.
Towards the end of it, I looked in the mirror and I'm like, my God, I'm nothing but bones. Like, you just kind of get so low that you're just like, I can't do this anymore. I need to just stop what I'm doing. And
He asked for help, went into treatment, and learned
what it really came down to was being comfortable with yourself and really having confidence in yourself. And that's basically what I lacked.
along with regaining confidence, he's gained 30 pounds and has a much healthier attitude about his body.
You are not your body. You are not your pecs. It doesn't matter what you look. It's your character, your accomplishments, your relationships that matter.
And those relationships can suffer when someone is lost in an eating disorder, when your friends and family struggle to stop you from hurting yourself.
I've lost so much time. I've lost so much time to purging, constant calorie counting, being isolative because I don't want to be around food, checking out books at the library, looking up every single calorie, making sure that I'm not going over 300, trying to avoid people who I knew cared about me and would make comments on what I was eating or how they were worried about me. I've just lost so much time, and I think that's the worst part.
Becca was a junior when her bulimia started. Bulimia is a pattern of uncontrolled eating binges followed by purging.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so fat, just because I would see these other girls who were stick thin, and I thought I was supposed to look like that.
She began to make herself vomit after meals. She thought she'd feel better if she were thin. She had been teased at school for her weight, and she'd also endured an episode of abuse as a child, a trigger for some eating disorders.
Well, you don't have control over this body issue that's going on to me, so I'm going to control this body issue that's going on with me.
When you focus on food constantly, you don't have to focus on the stuff that's really bothering you. It's a way to numb out.
And all the depression and all the anxiety that goes along with this, I'm going to numb out by becoming the skinniest person in the world.
Becca's numbness finally broke down, though. After losing 30 pounds in 2 months, she finally realized that she needed help.
I was so sad that I couldn't even eat on my birthday because I had promised myself, I'm like, okay, if you don't eat all week, then you can eat at your birthday dinner. But I was so scared of the food, it just seemed inedible to me. And I couldn't eat it.
She knew she had a serious problem, but she didn't know how to deal with it.
I was definitely not seeing reality. And the thing that made it so frustrating is I used to tell myself, think to myself, this would be so much easier if I wasn't smart. Because I did have the smart part of me that was that knew that this was not a way to live and that this wasn't reality. And so I had that part constantly battling with my eating disorder part. So it made it exhausting because I would get so mad at myself for not being able to eat and not being able to fix it on my own.
But finally, her parents took charge and got her into treatment. Becca agreed at least partly because she didn't have the energy to resist. She was already having serious health problems.
I have osteoporosis and I'm 19. I had 14 cavities when I went to the dentist, which I had to get some root canals, and I've been going to appointment after appointment after appointment for that.
When people with bulimia force themselves to vomit, stomach acid erodes their teeth, and dental problems aren't the only physical effects.
And I really didn't see it after, I didn't see any of the health effects really until after I started getting better from it. But I mean, I'm anemic now, hypoglycemic. My bones and teeth have both have really started to disintegrate. I think afterwards the next time I went to the dentist was probably 6 months later, and I think I had 12 cavities.
And the damage done can be permanent. 10 to 15% of people with eating disorders will die.
Well, they'll die from a variety of reasons. Some of them through malnourishment, some of them from suicide and depression leading to suicide. It is the highest mortality rate of any psychiatric illness.
When you're that much into your eating disorder, it becomes the most important thing. Losing weight is the most important thing in your life, more than your life. I was just so sick of always feeling fat or always feeling like the biggest person, that I wanted the last thing people to ever say about me was that I was skinny. Just because it seemed so important to me and to everyone around me.
With treatment, someone with an eating disorder can recover. Treatment is making a difference for Becca.
Eating disorders are so not worth it. I have lost years from my life that I can never get back. I've lost friends who I've isolated from. I'm spending what are supposed to be the best years of my life in a treatment center. And I have health problems, I have dental problems, and it's all because I wanted to be thin. Being thin is not worth it.
Megan has a different type of eating disorder called binge eating disorder. It is similar to bulimia, but without the purging.
It's just like this manic of eating really quickly, picking at different foods, opening the refrigerator, picking at cold things, picking at things that are stale, food that doesn't taste good. But it didn't matter because it wasn't about tasting good. It was about getting enough volume into my stomach. And somehow that food filled me up in some way. I didn't feel, I don't know, it just fulfills me in some way.
And once she started, she quickly lost control.
I had a lock installed on the outside of my door. And I had asked my parents to lock it because I was waking up every night and eating a lot. And so that worked for like a week. And then I pushed out the screen of my door, my window, and crawled out my window, walked around the house, like through the bushes, and then proceeded to come into the kitchen through the garage.
With treatment, she's gotten to a healthy weight and is trying to put her life back together. Bulimia, anorexia, binge eating, they're all dangerous and incredibly difficult to overcome.
When I went to the treatment center, they had to put me on a feeding tube to gain the weight back.
With therapy, Mary began to see how her life could be different.
I think I was just realized that there's so much more to life than, having to be held back by this eating disorder. And I felt like, I think I got a glimpse of what it was like to be in recovery, and then I didn't want to go back.
But in order to move forward, she had to recognize what, in her past, led her to anorexia.
I think a lot of it was, I'm a really big perfectionist, and it just gave me something I had control over. I think I always saw myself, I could do better, I could be prettier, I could be thinner, and I just never was satisfied.
If you know what you are and who you are without looking outside of you, it solves a lot right there.
Back then, I wouldn't smile, I wouldn't talk, I wouldn't do anything, and right now I'm the total opposite. Like, I'm very outgoing, I'm very energetic, and I hang out with my friends all the time, and my parents and I get along good, and I play sports, I'm a cheerleader, and back then, I couldn't do the things I love to do, like wakeboarding and surf and stuff, and now I can enjoy those things.
It's not a pretty way to live a life, and it really robs you of a life that you would otherwise have.
Think of the things that you like absolutely the most in your life, and if you keep your eating disorder, you'll lose them.
Some teens with eating disorders, though, can't see what they're doing to themselves. Sometimes a teen with an eating disorder needs help from a friend or parent to realize what is happening.
And I would say if you have it yourself, you need to seek help, of course, if you know of somebody who does. Oh yeah, well, everybody knows that so-and-so throws up her lunch every single day. Everybody knows it. How come nobody's doing anything about it? Maybe they don't realize that it's a life-threatening illness.
Your friends have a lot of impact, what they say or what they don't say.
I'll tell them, right away, if a girl's like, oh, well, I'm not sure if I should eat this, I'll be really frank with them. I'll be like, you don't need to diet. You look fine. You look good. You know.
But at the same time, they see what they want to see. You know, if they think they're fat, that's what they're gonna see.
See, I think it was this deciding factor for me. When my friends came up to me and they were like, seriously, this is insane. Like, you have to stop. That's what made me stop. More than anything else is the fact that my friends were like, especially friends who had eating problems. When a friend that has an eating problem tells you that you look gross, you know you look gross.
But ultimately, even with the support of friends and family, people have to break the cycle themselves and work to recover. With treatment, there can be a different life ahead.
I see a life because I haven't had one with an eating disorder. It's just an existence. It's not a true full life, and I look forward to having my life back as I recover.
How could you help a friend with an eating disorder?